Hi, everybody. It's Tay. I'm here by myself this week, just to kind of break down Queen's Park. I know a lot of us don't really know what Queen's Park entails. I know I didn't. I'm learning every day about this world, and Queen's Park was a learning experience for me. So I thought I'd bring that to the podcast to kind of tell you guys everything that's happening and that happened on Tuesday with us. Queen's Park for us was more or less almost like a networking event. We just kind of hosted, not like a party, but we had a room and we had food and drink, and we had MPPs come in. We had the premier come in, and for me, I got to go to MPPs and speak about the issues within the field. So this whole event was kind of like advocacy, but leveling it up a little bit more, and talking about the struggles of the field and what we, and the fights that we need to fight is great online. It's great on our social media platforms, like we're not going to stop that. But it was really nice to kind of take that and be able to have face-to-face conversations with actual MPPs that want to know what's going on. And I felt like they did want to know what's going on, which is very nice. I'm a frontline healthcare worker, and I have been for the last 7 years, up until very recently when I took my full-time position with OBSWA. And I found it really lovely that these people were asking me for my opinion on things. They wanted to know, hey, we did this, how did that pan out? And I was honest. I was like, listen, like, I know there were great intentions for some of these solutions, but it didn't really pan out well on the ground with us. It wasn't really working. And, it was great to have those honest, organic conversations with them as someone who's worked in the field and knew what it was like. So this event was basically networking and advocacy and people wanting to know what's going on so that they can kind of take it to their line of work and, draft whatever they need to draft. I don't know a lot about what they do, but I know that they want to know what's going on and hear it from someone who's actually in the field, because they're not, and basically take my feedback and use it accordingly for their work. So I was able to do that. It was very refreshing for me to have someone that wanted to listen to me. I mean, I have people that want to listen to me, which is nice. I have OBSWA, but it was nice to have people in essentially positions of power that were keen to know how things played out. And it was nice to be like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, some of the stuff did not play out, or, yeah, like that was helpful, thank you. Or, listening to also their suggestions and what they think the field should look like in a few years and being on the same page as them. So like with one MPP, we were talking about, how it needs to be a career, like pension benefits or like standardizing wages, like that sort of a stuff. We were really connecting on that, and I loved that. Or another MPP, they wanted to know how the education delivery went, and I was like, listen, this is what's happened, and for some people it was great, and for some people it was not, and it also didn't play well sometimes into the field. I'm a big talker about how online learning was used during the course of the pandemic to draft the pandemic PSW, but it wasn't helpful in some cases, or it wasn't like causing retention within the field because people were being scared. And it was nice to be able to advocate and say that to someone face to face. So it's kind of like a leveling up in terms for me with advocacy. And it was also a really cool full circle moment. I publicly advocated a little while ago, like pretty strongly on the internet. And it was, it was a don't talk about that type of thing with some people. And I kept talking about it. And on that day, I was having people in power be like, what's going on? Can you please tell me? Or, hey, that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing. Or just feeling like you could connect with them for at least 5 seconds, like it just felt well received and genuine. So that left me feeling kind of good. People weren't like, oh, okay, and turning around and walking away. They were kind of listening and they wanted to know more. So that was really promising. I thought you all would probably want to hear that as well. We hope for changes and we continue to push for them. And we talked a lot about I know I talked a lot about, I was by myself talking to a lot of people. So for me, some of the stuff is just what I was talking about, but I'm talking about how we want to move the field forward. And I know that this is something that OBSA, we all align on, that we want to move the field forward. We want to continue to, you know, make it into a profession of choice and garner that respect, and educate the public on what the PSW really is. And all of these things are really important too. And maybe just to kind of go off on a sideline there, that is another thing that we're really going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on educating the public on the PSW scope. We're going to be focusing on advocacy as well, but sort of like an approach where we are recruiting, obviously, like we want people to come into the field, because this is another thing. We want people to come into the field because in order to create these changes that need to happen, like, for example, patient ratios, we need to have staff to kind of fill that. And as of right now, we don't even have that. I know that was a big concern for me. I was like, what about patient ratios? People want to come in and take care of people and not be run off their feet. But it sounds like this is what I've heard and what I've learned, that we don't even have enough staff to enforce such a rule, which is a little sad. So we want to kind of give it the facelift it needs, invite more people to come, make sure that people are being educated properly, make sure that they're feeling supported, and create just a general better atmosphere for the profession. I mean, we're at the point now where like egos have no place here anymore. We all need to come together, and we are coming together for the good of the profession because we all love our jobs. And we need to kind of keep that energy moving forward. And there was a lot of the stuff that I was basically saying to MPPs, that we need to keep moving things forward and onward and up. And, there's just so much that I personally hope for the field. And it was just really wonderful on Tuesday to be able to have those in-person conversations. And so again, we were just advocating and networking and taking it a little bit offline and making it into something face-to-face, which was just wonderful. So cool learning experience for me. It was a very neat building. I had no idea what was going to be inside, to be honest with you. I've never looked it up, but beautiful art on the walls, marble, like it was quite incredible. So it was a really cool experience for me. Very cool full circle moment to be able to talk to these people. When in the past you're belittled and told to keep quiet because you're just a worker. So that was cool. And I'm hoping to continue having these meaningful conversations with people and taking the time to talk with people who want to listen. So it was wonderful. It was a very cool day. I don't have like a lot of juicy details to tell you all, so this might be a little bit of a dull podcast, but it is an honest podcast that this is what happened. So I hope you enjoy. I hope that was kind of helpful, or I don't know. It's kind of just neat to have that transparency as well, and being able to kind of learn with me. I'm learning, and it's nice to kind of bring that to the podcast and be like, hey, this is what this actually means, or, So anyways, thank you for listening. If there's anything that you have questions about, or you would maybe want to dive in further, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always there. I want to help. I want to give you what you want to hear. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening, and thanks for the continued support. I really appreciate it. Okay, bye.